Hello everyone, Tactical here. It's been a while since our last battle replay video, and today we are on the battlefield with some new Grand Cathay units. Yes, we have the Bashiva DLC, and today we are fielding some Vanguard shenanigans with the Tiger Warrior Stalkers and Bashiva herself. Yes, this is an almost fully Vanguard deployed Grand Cathay army. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and unfortunately couldn't do this because Grand Cathay simply do not have the right units. Yes, they have the Onyx Crowman, they have those Peasant Horsemen, and also a Bandits of Silver Road, but there's no mainstay melee infantry power to capitalize on the Vanguard deployment. So yeah, with the introduction of these Tiger Warrior Stalkers, I was finally able to build up this formation here and just dump everything into the forward deployment and start bum rushing the enemy army. Now, for the army built here, 4 units of Tiger Warrior Stalkers with armor piercing in both melee and in range. The precursor weapon doesn't have a whole lot of ammo, but can do some decent damage to armored targets. Unfortunately for me, there's not a whole lot of armored targets other than Empire Knights, but hopefully they will be able to do something with their decent melee stats and all that. Supporting them, of course, is just all the other Vanguard deployment elements, 4 Onyx Crowmen and 4 Peasant Horsemen, plus 1 more Bandits of the Silver Road, Peasant Archers with flammable contact effect with their arrows to improve fire damage. We don't have a whole lot of fire damage other than Bashiva and the Bandits themselves, so we shall see if they can do anything at all in this battle. And leading the army is Bashiva, the White Tiger herself, coming in with a few abilities and items. The Blade of Shangyang with a really good damage boost, giving that flammable effect for extra fire damage as well. Heaven's Gate for teleporting, zipping around the battlefield, and Hidden Huntress, slowing down enemy units and reducing their melee defense. They are supported by a Flock of Doom Claw Speaker, only Flock of Doom there, to drain down enemy blobs, and unfortunately it doesn't have Vanguard deployed, so the only unit deploying in the normal deployment zone for my army here. On the other side, we have Human Boy Yes, a big shout out to him for joining me in this early access patch and duking it out, trying out different tactics and units here. Going with the Empire this time for him, going with a bunch of halberdiers and spears, protecting a core of 2 great cannons and 2 mortars, backed up by a couple more spears with shields. Further back there, we are seeing some Empire Knights, 4 of them in fact, plus 2 more Outrider grenade launchers for fire support, able to do some really devastating damage if they're able to fire into infantry and cavalry. Leading the army is Balthasar Gelt in disguise with Final Transmutation and the Staff of Volan, already dumping that extra power recharge with the staff here, trying to get more Winds of Magic for those Final Transmutation spam. We're gonna get the battle started as the Grand Cathay army is under heavy artillery fire. You can see the great cannons and mortars from the Empire already lighting up those Bandits of the Silver Road, and perhaps some of these Peasant Horsemen. Oh, actually no, they don't actually have the line of fire yet, but as I stop the Peasant Horsemen from moving around, they're eating a bunch of grenade launchers, and the Great Cannon should be able to fire in. On the other flank, the Onyx Crowmen are diving into combat as well, trying to shut down those Outrider grenade launcher and protect the Tiger Warrior Stalkers. On the far side over there, Empire Knights, I think they were trying to charge those Peasant Horses, but just so happens the Tiger Warrior Stalkers are standing in front of them, so they're gonna bump into each other, but not with a charge attack. On the other side, Tiger Warrior Stalkers and Peasant Horses are moving into position, but here comes the Empire Knights. The Peasant Horsemen are not going to enjoy this one, and at the same time, Bandits of Silver Road got absolutely destroyed by those mortar heavy fire. I'm going to send one of the Onyx Crowmen to shut down one of the mortars. Here comes some spears to try and eliminate them, but too late for the mortar crew. And the Tiger Warrior Stalkers have gotten into melee as well. With the support of the Flock of Dooms, they should be able to do some okay work against the halberdiers. Onyx Crowmen now being countercharged by the Empire Knights as the Outriders quickly retreated away from their melee threat, while more Tiger Warrior Stalkers are pushing into the enemy backline this time, managing to get into some mortars. Hopefully should be able to shut them down once and for all, but too late for my Bandits of the Silver Road, unfortunately. While over here, Onyx Crowmen mobbing these Empire Knights, who got a charge onto the Peasant Horses, but that also means that they are vulnerable to a rear charge from the Onyx Crowmen. Now in the front line there, Bashiva pushed in and tried to shut down some great cannons, but looking at Balthasar Gelt, who dived down very valiantly against the Claw Speaker, trying to finish off this isolated Claw Speaker, this caster of mine. He has put himself into an extremely dangerous situation. Bashiva just came in for a devastating rear charge. Don't forget that Bashiva has that devastating flanker trait, given by the Tigerman unique passive, doubling her charge bonus against anyone with their backs turned. And on top of that, the speed reduction from Hidden Huntress means that Balthazar Gout is slowed down to light infantry speed and will be a lot harder for him to pull out of the fray, being smacked by 2 characters as well, and on top of that, the Blades of Shangyang 30% being sandwiched between 2 melee fighters, and on top of that, the Blades of Shangyang 30% weapon damage boost to Bashiva herself, combined with another 20% fire weakness from the flammable effect imbued by the Blades of Shangyang. So yeah, double charge bonus, 50% of damage boost from the weapon damage and the fire weakness. Gout is absolutely destroyed in this melee combat by these 2 melee fighters. The slow also seems to be hampering his movement through his own men, so he's stuck in this fight for a little too long, and in mere seconds, the 2 Tiger fighters are destroying his HP bar, shattering the caster, and there's no more final transmutation for the Empire. Now, however, the Empire army as a whole is still largely intact. They just don't have the caster support, and can still definitely put up a good fight. Bashiva quickly teleported back in and shattered those mortar once and for all, with some Flock of Doom support from the Claw Speaker. Unfortunately though, my peasant horses have been pushed back by the Empire Knights, and same goes for a good chunk of my Onyx Crowmen. Yeah, I don't really have much Onyx Crowmen now, except for 1 unit that is chasing off some Empire Knights with some other peasant horses. Now, I still have quite a bit of Tiger Warrior Stalkers, but unfortunately, they're now under heavy fire from the enemy grenade launchers. The Tiger Warrior Stalkers should definitely have tried to push these grenade launchers and keep them on the run, but unfortunately I'll be sending them into enemy state troops infantry, putting them right in front of these point blank shots of grenade launchers, getting absolutely destroyed. In a vacuum, their melee stats can definitely hold up against the Empire Halberdiers, but under the bombardment of these grenadiers, well, they're not going to earn back their worth and will be suffering heavy losses from the explosives. Similar things are happening over here with these Tiger Warrior Stalkers really tied down by the horde of state troops. I was able to drive back some of these spears and whatnot with Bashiva herself nearby, and the Claw Speaker also catching these Outriders temporarily, with the Onyx Crowmen coming in support. I really need to make sure these Outriders are being pushed back and seen off the battlefield, so hopefully the Onyx Crowmen can finish the job this time and make sure they don't come back. More peasant horses are coming back in as they have returned from the far flank. They might not be any melee powerhouse, but they do have fast enough speed to chase down all these routed troops, trying to eliminate as many Imperials as possible. Bashiva, the White Tiger, is just chilling in the middle of an enemy blob. Her attacking animations is really good at killing or surviving infantry blob fights, just flashing around even more so than Yuan Bo himself, and yeah. It's really giving these spears a hard time to land hits onto Bashiva. And at the same time, you might notice that Balthazar's banner is no more, as he has gone off the battlefield, which means this entire Empire army is suffering a massive -16 leadership debuff. So I really need to capitalize on this leadership debuff before this disappears, because unlike a Lord Dead debuff, this debuff have a bigger leadership reduction, but also is only temporary. Eventually, it will fade off. The Empire Knights and a lot of these state troops are under massive leadership issues because of that Lord recently flat debuff, so I am just sending them all off right now, chasing them down with my only remaining Onyx Crowmen nearby. The problem is that I don't really have that many units left. There are still some Tiger Warrior Stalkers fighting the good fight, almost getting 600 damage value, but still way less than what they actually cost. So unfortunately, I don't think the Stalkers earned their worth in this battle, but Bashiva definitely did by sniping up Balthazar Gout, and the Claw Speaker with the Flock of Dooms as well, doing some pretty good work. Now moving out to shut down these great cannons, with Halberdiers trying to chase him down. But hopefully the Claw Speaker can stay on these routing artillery crew and make sure they don't come back. There's still one great cannon online though, and they have managed to rout off my tattered peasant horses, so that's one less mobility unit for me. But Bashiva is just chilling in the fray here, zapping around the battlefield, duking it out against the enemy swordsmen. Once again, just flashing away and forcing these swordsmen trying to catch up to their targets instead of standing still and attacking. More Flock of Dooms from my Claw Speaker, but unfortunately he's probably going to be routed. Yep, he's routing right there as his HP is suffering more and more from the hands of these Halberdiers. Now, can they actually chase him down? That is a question here, because he does have quite a bit more speed than these Halberdiers, even when both sides are extremely tired. so he might be able to survive and come back, we shall see. But Bashiva is holding on just fine there, just chilling in the middle of a bunch of swords and shutting down the great cannons as well. Though she has taken some damage in this combat attrition. After all, she doesn't have that much armor herself. The Empire troops still have quite a bit of numbers left, and all I've got is just Bashiva leading the army and some Onyx Crowmen. Very healthy as they're just chasing after some Empire Knights, making sure they're not coming back for a cavalry support. I'm going to fast forward a bit here as Bashiva is just going to chill in the middle of a bunch of infantry, blob, and cavalry here. Humor Boy, knowing the Outriders' grenade launchers are just going to do friendly fire, charge them into combat and try to aid the melee fight. Unfortunately, they are poor melee fighters, so they really didn't do much here, and Bashiva fights on routing more and more state troops. More spears are coming in to tie her down, but she's not a large target, so she doesn't suffer anything from the bonus versus large. And on top of that, the claw speaker came back. The Halberdiers were not able to chase him down, so he was able to come in and drop a little bit of a flock of doom, draining down the blob of enemy infantry. The state troops are being drained, and on top of that, the Onyx Crowmen chase off another unit of Halberdiers. Bashiva barely managed to hang on in this infantry blob fight, and in the end, securing victory with a bum-rushing Vanguard build. For the post-battle screen here, if we look at the Tiger Warrior Stalkers, you can see that they did some okay work here, and that was under a lot of heavy fire from the grenade launchers. They don't have specialty against killing infantry, but overall their melee stats seems to be giving them an okay fight against all those state troops, and the armor piercing definitely helped against the armored cavalry there. The missiles were not too good because they only have so much ammo, and yeah, they don't have explosives like the Dwarf Miners, so the precursory missile is kind of limited here. But overall, I would say they can definitely hold up their own in a full Vanguard deployment army here, getting into the enemy's face early and just keeping that pressure onto the enemy missile troops. Some of the Tiger Warrior Stalkers able to get into the missile box, shut down some of the artillery, while if they can fight the Empire Knights, they can certainly do some okay work against their armor. Mobility-wise, the peasant horses didn't do much, as most of the heavy lifting were done by the Onyx Crowmen there, rear charging the Empire Knights and also jumping onto missiles, harassing them, preventing them from doing all the damage to my main formations here. The Bandits of the Silver Road unfortunately just not quite able to do much, as they were just destroyed by mortars. For the MVP of this battle here, we have the Claw Speaker and Bashiva herself, jumping in and shutting down Balthasar out really early in the game and denying all those final transmutations with that extremely good damage output with the devastating flanker and the Blade of Shangyang there. Combined with the excellent anti-infantry attacks, not only because of stats but also because of the attacking animation zipping around the battlefield, Bashiva got some really good value here, 2,200 gold worth of damage value and 244 kills. The Claw Speaker is also doing really well with that Flock of Doom spam, draining down the Empire army with those direct damage and really weakening their blob. For the Empire army here, Balthasar got shut down quite early, but even then, that one final transmutation is still 770 gold worth of damage value, combined with a couple attacks onto the Claw Speaker. The rest of the army here, state troops, did alright. They earned back some decent value, just grinding down my troops, especially the Tiger Warriors are quite fragile, they don't have much armor, and definitely suffer from the numbers game in a combat of attrition. As for the Empire Knights, they did alright, but mostly the damage was done by these Outriders grenade launchers, obliterating a lot of my cavalry and infantry formations. Artillery-wise, some of them did okay, but mostly they have been shut down quite early with the Onyx Crowmen and a lot of these Vanguard deployed army getting in their face and just not giving them a good target to shoot at, as a lot of the units are already engaging in melee combat with friendly units blocking their line of sight. Overall, I would say Grand Cathay can definitely do Vanguard shenanigans these days with all these new Vanguard units with the Tiger Warrior Stalkers and Bashiva herself. And I'm definitely more interested to see more aggressive Grand Cathay plays with all these light and aggressive infantry available at their disposal. And that's all for today's battle. I hope you all enjoy this battle replay. If you want to see more Bashiva and the DLC content of the Grand Cathay expansion, please do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. We'll be doing more gameplay videos of Total War Warhammer 3 multiplayer. And yeah, that's all for today. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Tactical signing out.